people without plants are in a state of potential neurosis, a state of existential wanting, a sense of abandonment that followed with the breaking off of these symbiotic relations with vision-producing plants. I think what evolutionary biologists have missed in looking at the emergence of human beings out of the primate phylogeny is, generally speaking, the mutagenic influence of foods. The fact that a fruit-eating arboreal primate, because of a situation of spreading dryness in the environment, evolved into a pack-hunting creature of the grasslands with an omnivorous diet. What this says to me is that there was a unique confluence of factors present in the evolutionary situation that were capable of kindling this ontological transformation of what had previously been the animal mind. And what I suggest this factor is, or was, psychoactive plants in the environment, specifically psychoactive plants in the grasslands environment in which human pastoralism evolved in Africa over 1 million years ago. The plant must be African. It must be extraordinarily noticeable in the environment. The only plant which fits this description is a mushroom of the psilocybin-containing variety. Low doses of psilocybin give increased visual acuity. Medium-range doses of psilocybin give an increased interest in erotic activity. Slightly higher doses of psilocybin give an experience of the numinosum, an actual contact with a mystery in the human psyche which is no less mysterious to us today than it was to our ancestors when the last glaciation was retreating against Canada. But in a strange way that is a law repeated over and over again through history, each advance somehow outsmarts itself. And the wonderful linguistic depth which women attained as gatherers through the production of folk taxonomy eventually led them to a terrible discovery, the discovery of agriculture. Rather than maintain this vast library of shifting information about seasonal plants, they could in fact focus on a very small number of plants, learn their needs alone, and at that point the retreat was on. These things were called consciousness-expanding drugs. Think about our dilemma on this planet. If the expansion of consciousness does not loom large in the human future, what kind of future is it going to be?
But at the same time, I would say there's something profoundly autoerotic about this process, and it's sinister.
Psychedelic. When you step up the environment to those speeds, you create the psychedelic thrill. The whole world becomes kaleidoscopic. And you go inward, by the way. It's an inner trip, not an outer trip.
From your vantage point, from the way your brain works, can you explain to me how we might perceive the world differently? I imagine you're processing information all the time in a way that your brain must be really noisy.
Well, you learn to filter it out after a while. You become a kind of a monomaniac.
What was the key to the Victorian period? It was the great triumph of the mechanical age, which is the age of fragmentation and specialism. But just at the peak of that mechanical triumph came the electric circuit, flooding in the whole electric image and world In 1844, the first year of the commercial telegraph, Kierkegaard published a book called The Concept of Dread. He was quite aware that a new environment had formed around the old mechanical one, and whenever a new environment goes around an old one, there's always new terror. We live in a time when we have put a man-made satellite environment around the planet. The planet is no longer nature, it's no longer the external world, it's now the content of an artwork. The planet, nature has ceased to exist.
Well, I think you're anticipating a century, perhaps, but...
But when you put a man-made environment around the planet, you have, in a sense, abolished nature. Nature from now on has to be programmed.
What I'm taking in, what I'm drinking in right now, is just visual pictures like anybody else, and those are being filed away. And later on, I will edit those, throw out the ones that I don't want, and keep the ones that I do. And I'll have some very clear pictures of this entire thing when I get done, but there will be a lot of stuff that's thrown out, too. And you have to become good at figuring out what to keep and what to throw out. That's part of being intelligent.
Thank you. I'm a modern man, a man for the millennium, digital and smoke-free, a diversified, multicultural, postmodern deconstructionist, politically, anatomically, and ecologically incorrect. I've been uplinked and downloaded, I've been inputted and outsourced. I know the upside of downsizing, I know the downside of upgrading. I'm a high-tech lowlife, a cutting-edge, state-of-the-art, bi-coastal multitasker, and I can give you a gigabyte in a nanosecond. I'm new wave, but I'm old school, and my inner child is outward bound. I'm a hot-wired, heat-seeking, warm-hearted, cool customer, voice-activated and biodegradable. I interface with my database is in cyberspace, so I'm interactive, I'm hyperactive, and from time to time, I'm radioactive. Behind the 8 ball, ahead of the curve, riding the wave, dodging the bullet, pushing the envelope. I'm on point, on task, on message, and off drugs. I got no need for coke and speed. I got no urge to binge and purge. I'm in the moment, on the edge, over the top, but under the radar. A high-concept, low-profile, medium-range ballistic missionary. A streetwise smart bomb. A Top Gun bottom feeder. I wear power ties, I tell power lies, I take power naps, I run victory laps. I'm a totally ongoing Bigfoot slam dunk rainmaker with a proactive outreach, a raging workaholic, a working rageaholic, out of rehab and in denial. I got a personal trainer, a personal shopper, a personal assistant, and a personal agenda. You can't shut me up, you can't dumb me down, because I'm tireless and I'm wireless. I'm an alpha male on beta blockers. I'm a non-believer and an overachiever, laid back but fashion forward. Up front, down home, low rent, high maintenance. Supersized, long-lasting, high-definition, fast-acting, oven-ready, and built to last. I'm a hands-on, foot-loose, knee-jerk head case, prematurely post-traumatic, and I have a love child who sends me hate mail. But I'm feeling, I'm caring, I'm healing, I'm sharing. A supportive, bonding, nurturing primary caregiver. My output is down, but my income is up. I take a short position on the long bond, and my revenue stream has its own cash flow. I read junk mail, I eat junk food, I buy junk bonds, I watch trash sports. I'm gender-specific, capital-intensive, user-friendly, and lactose-intolerant. I like rough sex. I like tough love. I use the F word in my email, and the software on my hard drive is hardcore, no soft porn. I bought a microwave at a mini mall. I bought a minivan at a mega store. I eat fast food in the slow lane. I'm toll-free, bite-sized, ready to wear, and I come in all sizes. A fully equipped, factory-authorized, hospital-tested, clinically proven, scientifically formulated medical miracle. I've been pre-washed, pre-cooked, preheated, pre-screened, pre-approved, pre-packaged, post-dated, freeze-dried, double-wrapped, vacuum-packed, and I have an unlimited broadband capacity. I'm a rude dude, but I'm the real deal. Lean and mean, cocked, locked, and ready to rock. Rough, tough, and hard to bluff. I take it slow, I go with the flow, I ride with the tide, I got glide in my stride. Driving and moving, sailing and spinning, jiving and grooving, wailing and winning. I don't snooze, so I don't lose. I keep the pedal to the metal and the rubber on the road. I party hardy, and lunchtime is crunch time. I'm hanging in, there ain't no doubt, and I'm hanging tough, over and out.
Also, behind it, of course, was a certain impatience with the numerology of society and the way we've been made into ciphers, so there was something else behind it as well.
Was that a personal thing in terms of your reaction to society, or was it more of an observation. Do you feel you're being...
I think we're progressing too fast. I think that we should pull back and consolidate the things that we've discovered.
I thought emotional intelligence would require some self-awareness also, some intelligence about your own emotional...
Well, that's called metacognition. Basically, it's a kind of a transcendental ability where you rise above yourself and look down on yourself from above. It's a different level of thought, where you've got the level, the object level, where you're talking about things that you see, and then you talk about the level where you talk about yourself talking about things that you see. And then you can go up from there. And metacognition, if it's mobile, it can actually go up an arbitrary degree until finally you experience oneness with the universe.
What is this one moment that appears to have a name like explaining a second in our time-based world? This one moment is often described by Buddhist monks as Om, but they try and replicate what it is, you see. But our human disabilities of being a temporary thing rather than a permanent thing cannot do that, you see. So when it's we have to stop and breathe. But the one moment is that vibration that never began and never will end. And within this simple flatline vibration, which has no thickness, size, it is everythingness. So it is neither a line, nor is it either have sides. It is infinitely stretching to no end. This one moment was or is your true state. You're never out of this one moment, because how can you escape, you see? How can anything escape this one moment? This beautiful sound that you are. Within this one moment, consciousness was born at the same infinite, limitless, no end. This one moment is like one big soul now, you see? It has given life to itself. And life to itself gave life to itself. And life to itself gave life to itself, gave life to itself. So this life to itself appears as if it's happening periodically in our time. But it's all happening within the same still one moment. And consciousness is still. There is only stillness. You are pure stillness. But the giving birth to life by itself creates movement. So movement is born as stillness. Consciousness is now moving. The moment this infinite stillness, no nothingness, no quality, no space, no sound, everything was born. gave birth to itself. It always existed. Always existed. Consciousness came second. Consciousness came when it gave life to itself. Very moving, you see. When you give life, when you have an intimate relationship, a sexual encounter, you give life. It is so moving, you see. It is the giving life that creates the movement. So movement is happening within stillness. So there's no separation. So when you're moving, you're still. And when you're still, you're moving. We as humans, in your human form, can only see it as moving. You never see stability. You can never see anything stable. The earth is moving, the universe moves, the stars move. You can never experience stillness. The wind moves, you move, your blood moves, everything moves. Your emotions are moving. They seem to move into anger and then happiness without warning. There's no thing controlling this anger, happiness, sadness, joy, scratching. Hey, there you go. Everything is taking place on its own. Life is giving birth to itself every moment within this one moment. Your human mind cannot understand that happiness is the same as sadness. Movement is the same as stillness. You see, it cannot understand that because it's been geared into, conditioned into thinking, I'm right, stand still, children. Let's play statues. Now you're still. Before you were moving, now you're still. You see? We create opposites. We create names, identities. For no reason, no purpose. Humans exist, we evolve, we do things automatically, we eat, we build, we have children automatically. There's no need to organize and educate and become on different steps of the ladder. We're already saints, you see. We're all saints, you see. That's the misinterpretation, the misunderstanding. When you think you're simply a human, that's your mind saying you're a body, you're a human, you're a name, you're this Graham, you live in this house, you have a job, and you are broken down into this insignificant thing. And life, giving life itself, does not mean to try and suffocate and stifle and break down a single thing. Not even a maggot should be broken down and stifled and said, you're a maggot, you're a bad maggot. We don't say that. We don't walk in the streets and see slugs and say, you're a bad slug. You're a littler slug. You're a lesser slug than that slug. You're a smaller slug than that slug. You're less intelligent than that slug. We don't do it. We only do it to ourselves. Through our whole antiquated, stale system of structure and organization and planning and having to, I've done this degree, so I am far more able to do this task than you are. We're all saints. We're all able. We're all beautiful. We're all giving life to ourself and giving life to other selves through an act of loving. Everything is loving, you see. Everything is moving. This one moment wanted to create itself as love. It brought in its own loving consciousness. And love gave birth to love. And that's all that takes place. But we want to destroy love. Something wants to destroy love. Something wants to stifle and suffocate and eradicate. In truth, it really matters not. It really matters not. Because you'll keep giving birth to yourself. That's what you are. You are the original one moment. Consciousness is a feminine side. It's not about females and males. All is one. acting masculine. Conscious, you give life, love to yourself. And you bring in your feminine side. The sexual organs are only here so that we can give life. There's no such thing as man and woman. But that's how we live. That's what we've taught ourselves to be like. We've taught through mind, through this devilish ego mind, that we are separate. And we're going to die separate. You may think that, and you may experience that, but when this body goes, love. Back into the pot of love. Everything is absolutely spectacularly loving. Even a slug in the maggot. Everything is holy. Paul. This body and mind cannot force you to understand these words. You have to experience, not the act of giving love. These are minuscule things. The act of going within and into the pot whilst you're in this body and see for yourself what you truly are and where you're truly looking from. Not these eyes. This is a vessel to experience what you have created. And you're disappointed, you see, because your ego mind says you're not doing well. You ridiculed that man, and that ego mind is now the good mind, you see. Be love. Simply stop judging. Stop analyzing. Stop valuing. Stop pretending that you believe that you are this body. This body is a vital tool for you to experience what you are. We're all the same one, experiencing the same thing. We're all giving love and experiencing our love as one love. What else to say? Namaste.